deliveries pay better because most people refuse to work when the city feels hollow. That's what I told myself when I accepted the request at 3:12 a.m. The pickup was ordinary, a sealed box, no labels, but the delivery instructions weren't. Signature required. Do not knock. Do not call. Wait for door to open. I sat in my car across the street, longer than I should have. The house looked lived in. Porch light on, curtains drawn, driveway empty. Still, it felt staged, like a set dressed to look normal. When I finally stepped onto the porch, the quiet pressed in hard enough to make my ears ring. I waited 30 seconds, then a minute. The door opened on its own, slowly, without a latch or creak. Warm air spilled out, carrying the smell of dust and something old, like a room that had been closed too long. No one stood there. I called out, keeping my voice professional. No response. My phone vibrated in my hand. Recipient is present. Proceed inside. The idea of leaving felt worse than stepping in, like the house had already noticed me. I crossed the threshold, and the door closed behind me on its own. The hallway was narrow, stretching farther than it should have. Family photos lined the walls, all turned face down. As I walked, my shoes made a faint sticking sound, as if the floor had been cleaned recently, but never finished drying. Somewhere deeper inside, something shifted, slow, deliberate. At the dining table sat a man, with his back to me, shoulders slightly hunched, hands folded. I announced the delivery. He didn't turn. Instead, he slid a clipboard across the table. It was already open to the signature line. The printed name at the bottom wasn't his. It was mine. I said I couldn't sign for my own delivery. His voice came softly, without facing me. You already did. My phone buzzed again. Delivery pending. Confirmation. He turned his head, just enough for me to see his profile, and my stomach tightened. His face was familiar, but wrong like mine seen through warped glass. Not a copy, a misalignment. I've been waiting, he said. They said you'd come eventually. The lights flickered once. Every photo on the walls flipped face up at the same time. Every picture showed me standing in that house, holding the box, frozen in the same moment from different angles. My chest locked up. I dropped the package. It never hit the floor. It hovered level with my hands, then slid back toward me as if the house itself had pushed it. My phone chimed again. Signature missing. The man's chair scraped back slightly, just enough to remind me he could stand at any second. I ran. The front door slammed shut before I reached it. I threw my shoulder into it again and again until it burst open and I spilled onto the porch. The street looked quiet. My phone buzzed one last time. Delivery complete. Later, checking my history, the job showed signed. Time-stamped 5 minutes before I arrived. The signature matched my handwriting perfectly. I stopped taking signature-required deliveries. After that, some packages don't want proof. They want someone to take their place. The package wasn't in the system when I picked it up. No barcode, no sender name, just a medium-sized box sealed tight, an address scrawled in black marker, and a red sticker slapped crooked across the top. Return if undeliverable. I flagged it with dispatch immediately. The supervisor didn't sound surprised. Take it anyway, she said. It keeps coming back. She didn't explain what that meant, and the line went dead before I could ask. The drop-off location made my jaw tighten. A storage facility on the edge of town, shut down years ago after a partial collapse. No active contracts. No deliveries logged there in ages. The gate stood open when I arrived, chains hanging loose, like they had been cut long ago. Inside, rows of metal storage units stretched farther than my headlights should have reached, disappearing into thick shadow. One light flickered near the far end, blinking on and off like a signal. The air smelled damp and metallic, heavy enough to sit on my chest. With every step forward, the pressure grew, subtle but insistent, like the space itself didn't want me hesitating. Before I reached the lit unit, its door began to rattle. Then, with a sharp metallic screech, it rolled open on its own. The unit was larger than it should have been. Empty concrete floor, bare walls, until I stepped inside. Shelves lined the interior, stacked floor to ceiling with boxes, hundreds of them, identical in size, shape, and seal to the one in my hands. I moved closer, pulse pounding, and felt my stomach drop. Every box had a handwritten label, my name, different dates, different ink, same destination. The package I was holding vibrated once, brief, violent, like a warning. My phone rang. Dispatch again. Her voice was low this time. Did it accept you? She asked. I demanded to know what she meant. There was a long pause, filled with faint static. If it doesn't, she said carefully, bring it back. It doesn't like being alone. The call ended. The unit door slammed shut behind me, plunging everything into darkness. The flickering light outside went dead. Somewhere among the shelves, something shifted, slow, and heavy boxes scraping aside like obstacles being cleared. I backed toward the door, fumbling for the latch. The package grew warm in my arms, then hotter, like it was waking up. The shelves began to shake. Boxes tipped and slid open, hitting the floor around me. Inside weren't packing materials. They were uniforms, courier jackets, my jackets, some older, some newer, all worn in ways I didn't remember. The floor vibrated as something moved closer. Pressure clamped around my ankle. Not fingers, not hands, just force, intent, and pull. I screamed and kicked free as the door exploded open in a flood of light. I spilled backward onto the pavement. The storage unit was empty again. No shelves, no boxes, just bare concrete and silence. I lay there gasping, the package still locked in my grip. My phone buzzed. Delivery failed. Return to sender. I didn't think. I ran for the gate and didn't look back. When I returned the package to the depot, it was already there, on the counter, clean, relabeled, waiting. The new address printed neatly on the front was mine. I quit the next day. The package still appears in my delivery history. Status: in transit. Some deliveries come with instructions. This one came with a countdown. Delivery window, 6 minutes. Failure voids contract. No explanation, no customer name, just a pickup pin flashing red against a frozen map. The parcel was waiting inside a roadside locker, small and sealed, faintly warm despite the snow piling against the metal doors. The moment I scanned it, the timer started. 6 minutes. The GPS rerouted instantly, pulling me off the main road and into streets I didn't recognize, the map reshaping itself every few seconds like it was thinking faster than I could. The destination appeared as a temporary hospital wing. No signage, no lights, just a dark structure half buried in snow. I skidded into the lot. With 2 minutes left, one door stood open, swaying gently. The moment I crossed the threshold, the hallway lights snapped on in sequence, racing ahead of me, like they were daring me to keep up. Doors slammed shut behind me, one by one. I didn't slow down. I couldn't. The timer pulsed louder. With every step, the sound syncing with my heartbeat. 30 seconds. The delivery room door slid open on its own. Inside, a single bed. A figure lay beneath thin sheets, motionless. No staff, no machines, no sound except my breathing and the ticking countdown screaming in my ears. The app vibrated hard enough to sting my hand. Deliver now. I placed the parcel on the metal table. The figure's eyes opened instantly, locking onto mine. Not blinking, not curious, just waiting. You're late, they said calmly. The timer hit 0. The temperature dropped so fast my breath fogged the air. My phone buzzed again, violent, frantic, contract voided. Retrieve item. The lights dimmed. The walls felt closer. I grabbed the parcel. The figure sat up without moving their legs. The sound they made not loud, but heavy, like pressure rolling through the room. Every alarm in the hallway activated at once. Doors ahead unlocked, just long enough for me to sprint through, slamming shut inches behind me. I wasn't being chased by footsteps. I was being chased by space itself. Air folding inward, corridors stretching, shrinking, refusing to stay the same. I burst through the exit and collapsed beside my car, lungs burning, hands shaking. The building behind me was dark again, windows boarded, entrance sealed, snow undisturbed, like no one had been there in years. The parcel was cold now, dead weight. My phone refreshed. Delivery complete. Thank you for your service. At home, I checked my stats. My completion rate had improved. Under notes, a new line appeared, one I didn't remember writing. Time windows are flexible. Replacements are not.